So far we've learned to set up our registry and how to interact with the information that's in it. However, as you develop an eHealth application, you'll want to be able to handle special cases and various error conditions. Perhaps you don't want a real response, but would rather handle your incoming message in a special way, returning SOAP, HTTP, HL7 errors, detected issues, delayed responses, or even return a completely custom XML response. So the way we've chosen to trigger these errors is when the HL7 author matches the person to whom we're adding the simulated exception. So what that means basically is, take this find candidates query, for example. Here you can see there's an author section. If we made it so that author would point to and link to our patient John Smith, and we added onto John Smith a special handling case, then that message would be responded to in a special way. So let's go and take a look at John. Okay, here's John. There's a special handling section where we can add these things in. Okay, so let's we have an option here of doing HTTP errors, SOAP errors, or no particular error but have an HL7 error response. Let's go with an HTTP error for simplicity. So we'll add a 404 error, and let's delay its response by 10 seconds. So now any message that comes in with John Smith as the author will have an HTTP error. However, let's further constrain it. Let's say that if we get exactly the find candidates query, then we'll be able to respond with some custom XML. We'll just say some XML. So what this means is that if any other message comes in with John Smith as the author, then we'll have an HTTP error. However, if a find candidates message comes in with John as the author, then it will respond with a custom XML. Now there's one other area that we'd like to look at that is a sort of special handling. Issue triggers. Basically the idea here is if we are trying to dispense a drug in fulfillment of a prescription that interacts in some way with some other prescription drug, then we want to be able to send back some type of an error message or some detected issue in our response. So let's take our warfarin example. Now, warfarin interacts with aspirin, and we'll send that back as an informational warning of high severity. And it is a reaction alert. And our message will be, these drugs interact. That was set up by Ken Gamble. And we'll save that. So what this means is any time that a dispense is requested and one of these drugs, for one of these drugs, and one of these drugs is already a prescription, then it'll send back those error, that one of those errors in the response to the request. And this is the information that it'll include there. So that's some of the ways that we can handle error situations or custom responses in TL7 to aid in the development of your eHealth application.